Hello. I'm just gonna pull some tarot for myself. I spent hours today just thinking through my life and did yoga, went to the gym, spent about 2 hours walking my dogs. Hello. Pulling tarot. Would you like me to pull some tarot for you? Oh, they're gone. It's all right. Spent about 2 hours walking my dogs. Basically argued out my life with myself. I didn't really come to any conclusions. A lot of complaints, a lot of dead ends. So I'm sort of realizing that there's a lot of potential. I had a spirit, must have been about a month ago, who told me that it's not too late to fix everything. So just a voice in my ear told me about a month ago, it's not too late to fix everything. That was uplifting. And so I was arguing things out with myself today. I was kind of going through the laundry list of problems and kind of my whole life history. I was just doing this sort of in my head for hours and hours today. And then I got to kind of a stopping point, sort of a safe stopping point at a certain point today. And I thought it was over. But I was in the shower and the spirit told me to keep going. So I was in the shower. Yeah, and the spirit told me to keep going. So I continued doing that. And then I was just brought to tears several times throughout the day. You know, and it sort of seems to me that I need to take a long, sort of expensive healing journey. I feel like it's going to take quite a bit of time and money to get to a place that I can be comfortable with. Yeah, because once you start down this path, you really don't have any other choice but to carry on unpicking locks and pulling yourself apart only to put yourself back together. So if you're just getting into spirituality, I would And like they always caution you, like, don't start on the path. The guru always says, don't start on the path. That's the kind of, because it's going to be hard. So ignorance is bliss. But once you've sort of pulled yourself apart a couple of times, put yourself sort of haphazardly back together a couple of other times, you get to this point where you kind of want to do it right. You want to do it right for once. So you want to like put yourself back together. And usually it's kind of this hodgepodge operation where it's a little bit of a return to a innocent time. So you're putting yourself back together like in this idyllic vision of something promising from your childhood. So some kernel of truth or hope that existed in your childhood, and try to like grow that, you know, flame, like a flame, like try to grow this like little kernel of hope or truth or promise that existed as a child. And rediscovering that can be one part of it, a main component of what it is. And yeah, as a child, I was creative, I was funny, I was even sarcastic, I was strong, I had like a strong body, I was imaginative, I was friendly, I was really ultra friendly. I used to just knock on people's doors. I used to just go through the neighborhood and knock on people's doors. I used to wear cheetah print. I was thinking maybe I'll do this again. When I was a kid, I used to wear a lot of cheetah print and like leopard print. That was my favorite thing to wear when I was a little kid. Like before the age of 8. Like I loved wearing like cheetah, leopard, like velvet tracksuits and things like that. Just loved it. It seems really gaudy to do that now, but maybe I'll do that again. Maybe it'll awaken or stir something up within me. But I loved being outdoors. I loved my friends. And my whole adulthood, I think I've been looking for a friend. I've just been looking for a friend. And I found one in my partner, but I'm realizing sort of the as you do with any relationship, you sort of realize the limitations or sort of the perimeter, like the kind of there's kind of a limitation on how far the relationship can go, on how much it can give, on just the sort of dynamic that you have with any person. There's sort of a there's not to say there's like not to say I'm gonna dump my boyfriend or anything, but with any dynamic, you can only milk a stone to, you can only milk a stone, you can only squeeze so much juice out of a lemon. There's only so much that you can really do with a certain dynamic. And I feel that me and my partner have explored that. And although we do continue to make new discoveries with each other, in my last video, I talked about how our sexual dynamic is ever evolving and continues to be a point of interest for me and for him. and that's a really good part of our relationship, but there's, as I say that, I see the devil. We're both Capricorns. But yeah, with a dual Capricorn relationship, there are themes of stagnation. There's butting heads. Like, we both have horns. There's like a bit of a butting of heads. Some things like that come up. But we are very loyal. So we're very loyal to one another, and we're very like, we need each other in a way. Hello, person. Would you like me to pull some tarot for you? I just fully shuffled my deck. Try to chat in the... Oh. Well, that's embarrassing. Every time I try to... they've left. So, yeah, me and my partner are... I'll just do a tarot reading for my own damn self. And I do realize that the whole point of this channel is a bit narcissistic, but that's kind of the point. I do a lot of serving other people. I serve my dogs. I serve my boyfriend. I serve children all throughout the day. This is kind of one little space. And then I do body practices, and I try to do meditation, and where I try to just kind of let go of the self. And I do body practices where I'm just sort of focusing on the feeling of my muscles and a feeling of exhaustion that grows, but still trying to find balance and strength. And so I'm sort of pushing my body to the limits. And I'm not really considering myself as such or per se. I'm sort of just pushing the limits of the sort of body vehicle that I have. And yeah, in meditation, I try to just let go of myself. And I do a lot of detaching and disconnecting. I actually don't do a lot of rumination. I think I did a lot more of that in my 20s. So I did some of that today. And it's sort of something I've been a little bit out of practice with, where you just sort of sit and really contemplate like your life. And I didn't really take a pen and pencil to it. It was sort of just this process that was happening in my head, like all sort of throughout the day. And yeah, this little channel that I've sort of developed and over the past couple years, 2 years, is sort of a space where I do sort of indulge and speak solely about myself. And if you don't have your own YouTube channel, and if you're watching, and if you're still watching right now, wow, that's amazing. I applaud your attention span. I applaud your you gave a shit about someone else, you could just turn off. I'm not being particularly interesting right now. Like, this is all quite self-indulgent. So maybe start a YouTube channel yourself. It's a good year for that. Dragon year. Why don't you start a YouTube channel yourself and just be awkward and talk in front of a camera and, sort of, you get maybe like a couple handful of followers, a handful of views, and a couple of people that occasionally would interact with you. I occasionally interact with people on my live videos, and it sort of circulates a little bit of energy and gets you sort of in a space where you're thinking about yourself, because a lot of us actually are quite giving, are quite actually giving of ourselves, and end up serving, like, have families and children and jobs, and like our whole life is spent in service of another person. We're serving the man, we're serving the betterment of something other than ourselves. So a lot of us spend our lives like that. So this is a unique opportunity to be a bit self-indulgent and just sort of share your own story, which is often what elders do, and it's what teachers do, and it's what people of prestige or some sort of unique super talent or super knowledge bank or something will often share some parts of themselves with people and get paid for it. Or they get artists, they share their story and we love them for it. They share and they dress it up with some window dressing, and, like, anyway, Taylor Swift comes to mind. They're highly paid and highly get accolades and fans and things, and it's, I think everyone has a story to share, and yeah, so why not start your own YouTube? And everyone has their own social media usually, and they share little photos and things that they're comfortable sharing. Maybe a sunrise that they saw that was super impressive, or little bits of themselves. And yeah, that's all this is. And I know it a lot of the time I'm just sort of whinging about a demonic attack or talking about an alien abduction, like some sort of paranormal event that has happened to me, because those tend to happen to me quite frequently throughout my life and day, to the point where it's quite normal. It's quite normal now. But I also don't really have the time or space to ever really, I don't even sit and contemplate it. I just take it as a fact now. I take it as a fact that spirits contact me, or that aliens abduct me and erase my memory, but leave me with one fragmented memory that I carry and can't quite comprehend what that was, or I sort of take that at face value, and I don't. So I think that's something I need to do more this year, is sort of process and try to work more closely with spirit, because when I first opened up to the world of spirit, it was really frightening and it was really traumatizing, and it was too much at once. And now it's sort of, they dole it out to me in small doses all throughout the week, all throughout the day, in small bite-sized pieces that I can sort of manage. And I just sort of surrender and accept it. And integrate it, and I just sort of carry on. And I think that's been a healthy approach to that. But if I wanted to take it to the next level, I'm sure there's things that I could do. More meditation, more like doing a dream journal, um, studying magic more intensely, um, or at all. I don't study magic. I just pull tarot once a month. Um, and I talk to a friend of mine who's psychic and see what she has to say. Um, but I do spend a lot of time just preoccupying myself with my boyfriend, my dogs, my work. Like, I think about work all the time. I always am thinking about the children. I lay awake at night. Like, I laid awake the other night. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was just thinking, I couldn't get back to sleep. I was thinking about work. I was thinking about the children. I was thinking about things that had happened. I was just thinking about work for like 3, 4 hours. I couldn't get back to sleep. I actually called in sick the next day for work because I don't do very well running on 4 hours of sleep. So, called in sick. But yeah, I laid awake ruminating about work for 4 hours. Um, so it's I find it hard to find time to really pay attention to spirituality. I'm gonna go to church tomorrow. Um, I sort of laid out all my issues today and sort of came to the conclusion that I need like God. Like I've reached an impasse. I need like divine intervention. Um, and Yeah, things seem controlled and they seem all right. I'm a teacher. I'm in university. I have a boyfriend. I have 2 dogs. I have a house. I have a car. Things seem on the outside, they seem all right, but I feel like my life has sort of gotten out of my own control. I wouldn't have designed things this way. I don't think I would have necessarily even had a boyfriend. I don't think I would have I don't think I would have become a teacher, for sure. Um, at least to a preschool teacher, especially, and my boyfriend um, help me to understand this better today. Is that I don't like the way that I don't like the philosophy of the preschool that I work at. I don't like the I don't necessarily find the community that I'm working within that compelling in terms of the general population that comes into the preschool that I work for, like, and the general attitude of the people that, I'm catering to. Uh, I don't and I don't like the philosophy that we teach under. I find it to be a little bit too strict. I find it to be boring. Um, I find that the teachers are overworked and the children are, even though they're more stimulated than they are in America, I have this sort of utopian vision of what childcare could look like and what teaching can look like. and I'm not finding it here. And so I've always said that if I was going to be a teacher, I would work at a Waldorf school. So I would like something more theatrical, more musical, more body based, more creative, more move away from like little toy cars. And I feel like the toys that we have are a little bit redundant, like the options of toys that we have. So it is a play-based center, so they're allowed to play all day. So we don't really do any formal curriculum, structured stuff at all, except for a couple of teacher-led group activities every occasionally when a teacher works up the energy to set something like that up. Um, where a lot of the teachers don't and just end up being supervisors, and preferably in a position where they can sit down, and preferably for them indoors. I would like to work at, like, a nature school. If I could work at a if I have to be a teacher at a for children, I would like to work outdoors, and I'd like to be setting up, like, theatrical, elaborate pretend games that happen outdoors. And the outdoor setting that we have is better, of course, than what I've seen in America, but it's not like it's on sort of a it's on like a little, not city, but like a town's, it's on a street, and it's basically concrete. There's not like much grass. There's like a little patch of grass. It's not like this outdoor wonder adventure park, theme park, which is what I would prefer, like to be like a, more places for them to hide, more places for them to explore, and like yeah, and I would let them climb. If I had it my way, they could climb trees, and yeah, if they break their leg, they break their leg. If they break their leg, they break their leg. If they break their arm, that's all right. They break their arm. And if they scream and squeal and shriek and holler with joy and laughter and ecstasy, and that's fine, and we don't have to tell them to be quiet or use their stop making that noise, or get off that thing. No, most of the time they can balance on that thing. Teachers are always telling them to get down from something. It's like, no, most of the time children understand their limits. They're probably going to be fine. um, Sometimes children do get stuck in a situation where they've attempted something and they overestimated their ability. In that circumstance, you just go over and you pick them up and put them back down on the ground, and you know. But yeah, so yeah, I have this feeling of like my life has sort of gotten out of my hands, and I've gone and done something really conventional, and it's I would like to get out of the 9 to 5 by the end of my life. I hope I don't have to punch in at 50, you know, and work a 40-hour week, 60-hour week, as you become a professional, oftentimes you have to work like 60-hour weeks and things like that. And it's just expected that you'll work overtime and you'll do after hours work and things like that. Hopefully, that's not going to be my picture of life. But yeah, I've got a lot of trauma, and I've got a lot of I didn't really set myself up for anything um, cozier than that. And so this is what life has presented to me. And yeah, and on the outside, and in certain ways, and on certain days, it's all right. But in a lot of ways, it's just, it's a kind of grind that I'm not as comfortable as my peers with doing for the next 35, 40 years or whatever it is that I'll be working. Maybe that's I think for my peers, that's all they ever really expected that they would be doing is punching in and working a 9 to 5, and that's all they could have hoped for, and that's all they could have dreamt. And yeah, nobody really likes it. We're kind of everyone wishes they were a kid again or something. But yeah, when you're an adult, you expect that you got to punch in, and I'm just hoping there's something different for me. And yeah, I do think about work a lot. I'm a Capricorn. Anyways, what's the energy? That me and my listeners, I'll say, need this week. Queen of Swords. Been doing a lot of thinking today. So yeah, keep asking yourself those questions. Are you happy? Are you happy? Am I happy? Am I happy? So I just went through the Rolodex today. Am I happy? Am I happy? Am I okay with this? Is this good enough for me? And I came up with a lot of like, no, this is not good enough for me. What do me and the listeners, assuming anyone who's gotten to this point in the video would be of a like-minded. Oh. What is that? 7 of Swords? Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, keep asking questions. Keep asking questions. Keep digging. Keep thinking. What energy do we need this week? Just this week. We'll pull 6 cards. I always like to pull 6 cards. Oh. I've got the 10 of Swords. So yeah, we're carrying around this big bag of problems, and maybe we need to lay down and surrender. How much more surrendering can I do? Keep asking questions, but maybe we need to rest, accept defeat so that we can move forward. And then I got the 3 of Wands in reverse. And maybe that means we need to look into our past. Look into our past, dig up our past. Maybe we need to process it with a therapist. So those 2 cards came out together. Okay, 2 more cards for what do we need to do? What's the energy that we need this week? 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 What's the energy? What's the energy that we need this week? What's the energy? Okay, and I got Ace of Wands. Maybe we need to dream. Dream a bigger dream was it what I was going to say, but I don't really know quite how to interpret this, but I got it with the star. Maybe we didn't need to tap into our own resources, our own natural gifts, our own natural what we need to like turn towards what is working. And so for me, like I went to the gym today. That's working. I'm the star, you know? Maybe focus on what is working. And a little bit of rumination. A little bit of rumination. Perhaps. Rumination. Just going through the list. Thinking clearly about, yeah, maybe even write things down, or if you're not good at like mental contemplation, if you need to get it down or type it down or something. What's been working? What's not been working? What does your life really mean to you? What do you really want for yourself? And yeah, maybe you need to accept defeat. Like, yeah, a lot of this shit has not worked. There's been a lot of problems. There's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of skeletons in my closet. I've been carrying like quite a lot of shit. You know, and like I said, I reached a lot of dead ends today. I sort of felt like this guy today. Like you might come to no conclusions. There might be no salve for a lot of the conclusions that you come to. Like it might just be like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. I sort of feel like that a little bit. Like, At the bottom of the deck, I got the sun. So there's always greener pastures on the other side of these like dark nights of the soul, and life usually rewards you when you really look it in the face and, you know, add things up and see things for what they are, and make necessary cuts and things. Life usually rewards you. And yeah, and what is working? What is working in your life? There has to be one or two things for you. If you're watching this video, there has to be one or two things that are working, like whether it's a partner that you have that you love, or if it's a dog that you love, or whether it's a job that is bringing you some money, at least some money, you know, you have food on the table, some satisfaction, or there has to be at least some point of, for most people, there's at least one or two things that you can be grateful for, and just like keep fanning that flame. That's the metaphor I was looking for earlier. Just keep fanning that flame. But it's interesting in a lot of ways. It's like looking back at the past for me, and looking back at your life and you know, really considering like the karma that you've accrued, the things that have happened, and what does it mean in the grand scheme of things. Just keep asking question after question after question, and don't be afraid of the answer. And accept defeat. Accept like a lot of things in life that have happened to you and that have gone wrong. There's been a lot of things that didn't work, and there's a lot of things in this world that continue to not work. But there's this little kernel, but there's, you know, the sun. Oh. I lost the sun. Anyway, but yeah, the Queen of Swords. So, and that's good because it's Aquarius season, so it would be a cool time to do a lot of this kind of thinking. You're just talking to yourself. I know it's makes you look crazy, and I know I've done a video where I did this the whole time, and that looks a bit crazy. But when you do this and you think and you're talking to yourself, that's when it gets really crazy. But why not try that? Doing this, talking to yourself, and anyways, that's what spirit is telling me to tell you, and that's what the tarot is telling me today. And yeah, I'm always looking for the optimism in something. I'm gonna keep going to the gym. I'm gonna keep honoring and respecting my boyfriend. I'm gonna keep walking the dogs. I'm gonna keep going to work on time, and I'm gonna keep, these things are working. They're working. With money in the bank, I have love that I can get from a couple of different sources. So I am going to keep, my yoga practice. I'm going to keep doing my yoga. I'm going to restart my meditation practice. I'm probably going to do that this week. I'm jogging, always jogging. And I think I might return to raw veganism, or being at least high raw. So I want to eat mostly raw vegan food. And I have already started to do that. So yeah, I have some of that going on. Some good things in life, but not a bad idea to ask those questions of yourself and to keep digging. So anyways, that's all I have to say. Enjoy your week.